Good evening. It's the first hump day of November. It is November 6th, and it's been nearly 65 days since we've seen any sort of good rainfall, any sort of soaking rainfall.
Oh yeah, the last time we saw any rainfall that was significant was back in September, and that was roughly an inch in one day.
And we're going to talk about, on this show about a little bit of rainfall coming up over the next couple of days, but nothing that'll bring us or prevent us from getting into a drought over the next few months.
I mean, yeah, right. As of right now, we are roughly 2 inches behind on our rainfall as of last month.
And it's really not helping the farmers. We're starting to go now into the winter crop season, which you've got a few things about the local crops in Georgia and Tallahassee.
Oh yes, I mean, crops such as corn, cotton, soybeans, all those are really being harvested and being finalized about this time. So if they're short on rainfall, that could affect the product in the end.
Now, we were lucky enough on November 1st to get 7/10 of an inch of rain here in Tallahassee. Not so much across the Big Bend area, though.
Yeah, it was fortunate for us to get all that rain in one night. It was the precursor to the Miami game last Friday, but like you said, not much is expected in terms of the next few days from this front, although it could bring a little bit.
Now, I hear that there's some glorious skies on the webcams out there, Tyler.
Yes, and I'll actually get to that in my Around Florida segment, but taking a look at what's going on around the nation, you mentioned the drought-like conditions that we had, and we do have some rain on the radar. The problem is it's really nowhere close to us, and by the time this frontal system pushes through our area tomorrow, it's really going to be a much weaker state. You can see a lot of shower activity across the Mississippi Valley and the Tennessee Valley as well. But the headlines for around here go as follows. We're going to be seeing mild and cloudy conditions on your Thursday, but the sun returns on Friday with the effects of that cool front. And we do have some great weekend weather, in fact. Southeast radar picture just shows the dry conditions that we have for now, but kind of moistening up as some moisture moves in from the south in the Gulf of Mexico. And finally, for tonight, we're going to see some clouds. Temperatures will be in the mid-range of the 60s. We'll detail you on the slight chance of shower activity that we have coming up in a few minutes, but let's go back to the desk.
You saw those slightly warmer overnight temperatures, and it was actually warmer across most of the southeast today. In fact, it reached 90 degrees in Immokalee, Florida this afternoon.
That's not the only extreme we have to list today. I mean, it got to -3 in Gothic, Colorado, and there were almost, 3 inches of rain reached in Mena, Arizona.
And actually, you heard that -3. It's actually 15 degrees above where they were yesterday. So believe that they're actually in the negative teens yesterday.
So yeah, and that's once again not the only place. Along the Mississippi River, -15-degree changes. And then there are 15-degree changes higher than normal along the Appalachian and Blue Ridge.
Yeah, so you really have to follow that front. Where that front's pushing through is where it's a little bit cooler, where there's no rain falling. It's actually a little bit warmer. And we're going to talk about that more locally with Jay now.
Thanks, guys. As you can see, we have no rainfall at the moment, but we had some very ominous clouds this morning, but that moved on out and had some very nice sunshine later on throughout the afternoon. And tonight it's going to be the same. The moon coming up, bringing me very nice. If you look at our radar right now, nothing really to talk about. You have some few showers offshore, but that did not spoil our day for Wednesday. When we take a look at our current conditions, 79 degrees, partly cloudy. Overall, it's been a very good day in Tallahassee. When we take a look at our current temperatures, you see 79 in Tallahassee, you see 70 Quincy, Wilma, you're sitting at 81 degrees, and Monticello, you're sitting at 72. Overall, it's been the upper 70s and low 80s. Nothing really too concerning, except for the fact that it has very nice sunshine. No rain at all. But that might change tomorrow because you still have a possibility of rain chances, 20%, but I'll get more than that in a little bit. When you take a look at our Saturn radar, you see that cold front bringing in some thunderstorms moving on into Thursday, which is why I talked about it, because the rain chances will go up on Thursday. But after Thursday, it's going to go back down when you hit Friday and the weekend. But for right now, nothing really talking about Tallahassee. You see some offshore thunderstorms near Jacksonville and Orlando, but nothing to really be concerned about. When you take a look at our futurecast, it's been mild temperatures in South Florida and in Florida in general. But when we set it into motion, that low started making its way along with the cold front, so bringing in some nice cooler temperatures. And when we get into Friday, that cool temperatures will keep up along with the high, bringing in some nice, good sunshine for the Sunshine State. When we take a look at our tonight's temperature, 64 degrees, it's going to be a little bit warmer tonight than it has been, so you won't need a jacket tonight. But if you get cold really easily, I would suggest bringing a light one just in case. But overall, it won't be a bad night to go out and have some fun. Clouds will stick around, but overall, not that bad. When we take a look at tomorrow's forecast, 81 degrees, a mix of sun and clouds, and like I talked about before, there will be a slight chance for thunderstorms, so you might want to bring the umbrellas and raincoats handy just in case. But overall, when we hit past tomorrow into Friday, it will be very nice weather. When we take a look at our 7-day forecast, when we move out the way, we see it starts going down on Thursday with 20% chance of rain, and Friday into when we play against Clemson on Saturday, we will, well, not even Clemson, we play Syracuse on Saturday, excuse me. Hopefully we get the win on Saturday. The Seminoles take it on at 3, and when we get later on throughout the week, sunshine is all around. Wednesday, try to be rebellious there, with slight chance of rain, but overall, nice weather. Let's take it down to Chris with our southeast.
All right, Jay, thank you very much for that local forecast. And we're going to zoom things out a bit across the southeast, and you can see we're going to start here with the rain since midnight. You can really see where the rain has fallen between an inch and a little less than an inch, actually 0.59 inches in Shreveport and 0.41 in Little Rock, and then even higher amounts towards western Arkansas and parts of eastern Oklahoma. And that's going to be pushing on through towards the east, but we likely won't see any rain here across the panhandle. It will be weakening as it does make its trek towards Florida. Now, the satellite and radar shows where that rain is, and you can see where the rain has fallen. That's where the radar shows the rain. And it's just about ready to move into Memphis and northern parts of Mississippi and across Louisiana. But that's really going to be our big player as far as temperatures go. It will bring us cooler weather and really drop those temperatures from these milder days we've been seeing today and into your day tomorrow. But overall, not much rain to be falling across Tallahassee in the next coming days. It's going to be dry come the weekend and into next week, so great weather as far as your forecast is concerned about. But I know the farmers want some rain. It's been a dry October across the region, so we could definitely use some of those moistures. Now, 75 is where we sit here in Tallahassee currently. Cooler as we head to where the rain has fallen and the front has pushed on through. 53 in Little Rock, 55 in Shreveport. These are temperatures we're going to be seeing come Friday after the front makes its way through. But out ahead of it is very warm, 74 in Montgomery, 73 in New Orleans, 67 in Atlanta, and even warm down there in South Florida. And as we hone in on the water vapor, you can just see, basically I want you to point out these greens and whites. That's just the atmosphere and the moisture content. It's really juicing up down here across the southern Gulf, and out ahead of that front we're going to have southerly winds, and that's just going to really give us more humidity, really increase the mugginess, especially on your day on Thursday, give us more clouds, maybe a slight rain sprinkle here and there, but overall we'll stay dry, but you'll definitely notice the increase in clouds. And as the play-by-play continues, mild is going to be our forecast for tomorrow with clouds on the increase. The low pressure will move on to the east and the south and bringing along with it a cold front that will push through the region tomorrow, and then come Friday, beautiful weather, perfect just in time for the weekend, cool skies, or cool temperatures, sunny skies, very few clouds to talk about, but overall tonight's forecast across the region still going to be warm from Montgomery southward between upper 50s and mid 70s across South Florida, but behind the front 40s. And tomorrow looking like another warm, muggy day from Tallahassee southward. But guys, let's take it back to the desk and give us some more info.
Thank you, Chris. And taking things up north for just a second, as of now into Friday, there's actually going to be a low pressure system moving through Alaska.
And we've all seen Deadliest Catch with all of the large low pressure systems and all of the waves in the Bering Sea. And that's going to be the situation over the next few days as well, where they're going to have upwards of 65-mile-an-hour gusts for the overnight hours.
Yeah, gale force winds, and as right now, the high in Nome is predicted to be 23 degrees.
Now that's cool, but it's still not as cool as it could be up there this time of year. Now, it's also going to be very windy, which means a lot of snow. They could get upwards of 3 inches of snow in the lowest elevations.
definitely. But as for right now, John, why don't you take things back to the rest of the United States and take a look at the national.
Actually, I'm going to take one quick look here in the Bering Strait as well. Actually, we're going to go ahead and you can see that very strong high pressure system, and you can see as well some of those temperature changes across the central part of the country. You can see we talked about those temperature swings, 15 degrees cooler in Kansas City, 10 degrees cooler in Dallas, and it's starting to warm up across the west, 15 degrees warmer in Denver there, and the changes are starting to be felt here as well. 8 degrees warmer in Atlanta, and as soon as this cool front pushes on towards the east, it's going to get a little bit cooler. It's not going to be a big change. You're going to notice those clouds sweep in over the next day or so, but there's not really going to be a whole lot of rain associated with that. It will be a little bit cooler, and it's also going to be a little bit drier as well. It's dew points right now in New Orleans, socked in at 72 degrees in New Orleans. Behind that, we're looking at 41 degrees. That's going from a little bit sweaty outside to needing that chapstick. And these dew points are going to start to swing in here over the ending part of the week and into the weekend. So you're going to want to keep that in mind. Here's a look at that system going from the upper Great Lakes down into the lower Mississippi Valley and down into Mexico as well. And this is all going to slowly push on towards the east. The unfortunate part with this system is all the support that makes the rain in the atmosphere is heading up towards the north. So the trailing end of this line is going to kind of fall apart as it reaches our area in the southeast. So we're going to see a few spotty showers, but behind that we're going to see high pressure build in from the Rockies and come down into the Central Plains. And it's going to be nice for the weekend. And we're going to have a slight cool down on Saturday before rebounding back up into the 80s by the middle of next week. Airport delays, unfortunately, there we have a ground stop in Detroit. Around the rest of the region, we're going to see no airport delays from east to west, coast to coast. You may want to expect a little bit of turbulence as this front comes by, but temperatures are going to be the real concern across the western parts of the area. 35 degrees in Albuquerque tonight, the cool spot in Denver and in Billings at 27 degrees, with temperatures falling into the teens in some parts of North Dakota. But here in the eastern part of the country, the warm-up is still on for the western parts of the Panhandle and down into Florida. Behind that, cooler temperatures are coming on in, 70 degrees in Dallas, 58 into Memphis. We're going to go ahead and turn it over to Shane with a look at the local weather.
Thanks, John. And our local weather has been pretty cloudy today, although we did see some sun peek out around lunchtime today and through the afternoon. Currently, however, in the capital of Florida, it is 75 degrees under partly cloudy skies, and we can expect clouds to increase in concentration and remain there overnight. Spreading our gaze around the Big Bend region, we see 73 in Bainbridge, 68, a little cooler there in Thomasville, and 74 in Apalachicola along the coast. So we're pretty uniform right now, mid to lower 70s with just a few cooler spots. And as we look across the whole southeast, we see the cold front that's coming through, bringing lots of rain up to our north right now. And we focus in, we can see the rain beginning to break up in the southernmost reaches of that front. So while we will have clouds increasing tomorrow, we're not forecasting a huge amount of rain. We also see in the Gulf this moisture maker pushing a bit more clouds into our region in addition to the front. And our water vapor map illustrates that quite well. These dark shades of green and light green there pushing up into our region, and the brown and orange dry air is sliding out, giving you an animated look at what's going to happen over the next 2 days. Let's bring our low pressure system up to the northeast, draping this cold front over our shoulders. And by tomorrow evening, it will definitely be in our region. It'll be bringing us clouds and maybe a sprinkle of rain. I would recommend having an umbrella around, though you may not use it. And once you shelve that umbrella, you can get right out those cool coats, because it's going to be chilly on Friday and Saturday morning. We're looking at waking up to highs in the upper 40s. So brisk enough for us to want those coats as we head out to early morning classes or weekend activities. Now tomorrow out on the ocean, if you're taking your boat out for pleasure or business, maybe fishing, be aware that it's going to be windy with winds at 5 to 10 knots, and we're expecting cloudy skies naturally and a moderate chop. So exercise caution, make sure you have a life vest for everyone on your vessel. And now bringing it back home for tonight, it's going to get down to 64 in the capital city. And note, this is going to be kind of warm. It's also going to be a bit muggy as those clouds stick around and trap the moisture and the heat in our region. and it's definitely not going to be a chilly morning tomorrow. We're pretty sure of that. Now, tomorrow it is going to warm up to 81 degrees, almost near record high temperatures, though with all those clouds hanging around, we don't expect it to quite get to the records. And we're expecting about 20% chance of rain. This isn't that much. I wouldn't worry too much about it. And now, taking a look at the week ahead, once that front pushes through and brings us cooler temperatures, we're going to have a pleasant high of 72 on Friday. It's going to be gorgeous, with clouds increasing into next week as a repeat performance of a front comes through around next week. And now let us send it back to Tyler and Jay at the desk.
Thanks, Shane. Let's get right into the story, shall we? We're going to talk about Super Typhoon Haiyan that's going to make its way to the Philippines on Friday.
Yeah, not a good system here. This is a nearing Category 5 strength, right, at 150-mile-per-hour storm.
Yes, and it's supposed to increase to 175 before it's said and done.
This is set to be the most intense tropical cyclone in the world for this year. So definitely folks in the Philippines need to brace themselves for a dangerous situation.
Yes, officials are urged for the citizens to move to get out the way or make sure they be very cautious about this storm. They're not playing around when it comes to something like this.
And they shouldn't be playing around because this is, again, a Cat 5 storm of epic proportions, and it could do quite a bit of damage to that region. But let's go ahead and take a look around Florida now, and I'll show you what's going on here. You'll notice we do have some clouds and some showers. That's been the case all week long for the Florida Peninsula due to a strong easterly wind flow, and we've got it again across the region, and we've certainly got it again today, but it's starting to ease up a little bit. Let's show you a few net cams for you. First, down at St. George Island. We did have a beautiful day, lots of sunshine. Now the sun is set, but this image was a little bit earlier today, just a few clouds filling into the region, and voted one of the best beaches in Florida, Siesta Key Beach. Beautiful day there, just a few clouds earlier today, but all in all, a pretty nice day. And the weekend's going to be plenty warm if you're trying to head to the beach. We will see a few clouds, though, in the Florida Peninsula. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s region-wide. Doesn't feel a whole lot like November around here, with 71 in Jacksonville, 79 degrees in Miami, 80 degrees. It's balmy in West Palm Beach. And the winds are much more relaxed than they were on Monday and Tuesday. A northeasterly flow, so it's not as breezy there, but there certainly still could do without the wind after some beach erosion and high surf that has been around all week long. The moisture is also increasing because of that flow that's just been pumping in lots of moisture over the last couple of days. So we have a dew point of 72 in Key West. It's sticky. It's sticky in Fort Myers as well, 66 degrees. That's the surface, but above our heads in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, we also have some moisture seeping in. That's indicated by the green colors here on the water vapor satellite imagery, and you can see that's coming in from the Gulf, and we also have that cold front that's working into the deep south as well. That'll combine to give a little bit of moisture around the area as we go into the day tomorrow. And then as the front slips further to the south on Friday, it's really just going to wash out, and temperatures won't drop behind it, at least down in central and south Florida. But around here, we will see some cooler temperatures. And you can see, again, lots of moisture kind of surrounding the state here on the Futurecast model. Periods of showers coming on shore, mainly across the east coast of Florida, dying out before they reach the interior sections. And then really after that, we won't see too much around here tomorrow, although we have about a 20% chance of rain in the forecast. We'll notice a dip in temperatures on Friday, but folks in Central Florida, South Florida, not so much. In fact, it might be good to call it the beach day because, again, temperatures will cooperate. Still plenty warm beach temperatures here in the low 80s down in the southern Gulf of Mexico region, so not too bad. A little cooler water, though, up here toward the Big Bend, 69 degrees. I don't think I'll be heading in that water, but northerly winds at 5 to 10 knots, seas running about 2 to 3 feet if you are going to the beach. And if you're going on a boat, about the same, 2 to 3 foot waters as well. Tonight, temperatures, again, not very cool, 60s and 70s, fairly mild in fact. And tomorrow, highs will be in the mid-range of the 80s. So that's all for a look around Florida. But now, what's going on around the nation with Clay?
Thank you very much, Tyler. Tyler, if you've got any travel plans in mind, this weekend will be the weekend to do it, as we've got Veterans Day coming up on Monday, so that means good news for us, no class and hopefully no work for you as well. As we talk about your travel plans throughout the weekend, we know that temperatures around here aren't really seasonable, aren't really the November-style temperatures you would see, but up towards the north, you can see 37 degrees in Minneapolis, 45 in Billings, it's 54 out on the west coast in Seattle, but like I say, more closer to home, it's 73 degrees in New Orleans, and it's 79 down in Miami. And if we talk about temperatures around Florida, we're going to start seeing close to record temperatures for this time of year tomorrow in terms of heat. No really any weather delays going on in terms of airports, except for up in Detroit, which we've got this cold front system that's making its way around, really laying down the weather and the storms up there. That's why things have come to a stop. But other than that, across the nation, we're looking pretty clear in terms of travel at the airports. Our water vapor imagery shows lots and lots of moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere. You can't really see any oranges or reds at all, which would indicate some dry air. Now, this doesn't really mean that there's a cloud deck over the entire nation. What this really just means is that there's a lot of moisture and potential up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Our satellite and radar composite screen really shows this big weather player that's right across into the Ohio River Valley. This cold front boundary is making its way east. In terms of weather for our area, it's going to be a little iffy around here. We're just talking about scattered thunderstorms and scattered showers for some lucky folks up there. But for the people up in the northeast, as this makes its way across the Great Lakes region, we're talking about lots of heavy rain, lots of showers, lots of energy that's making its way across the country up there to the north. We'll talk about the tropics for just a little bit, as we have still a couple weeks to go in the tropical hurricane season this year. Not a whole lot to talk about. It's really been not a very active season this year. What we can really talk about is this little bit of piece of energy that's stabled down into the Caribbean. I don't really see this being a problem in terms of creating a tropical storm or a hurricane even and making its way up. That would be asking a lot. And as we come to a close in this hurricane season. For tonight across the region, we can take a look at temperatures. We're looking at 41 in Dallas, 45 in San Antonio, getting below the freezing mark in Minneapolis at 25 degrees, and just at freezing in Kansas City. For tomorrow, temperatures are going to be in the 70s in Dallas and in New Orleans, 58 for us in Memphis, and if you're headed out to the West Coast, it's going to be about 65 degrees for you in San Francisco. Guys at the desk, I'll take it back to you.
All right, 65 degrees, that sounds pretty nice to me, after temperatures will be in the 80s once again tomorrow. But
Yep.
this day in weather history,
Iowa got some very interesting snow, 10 inches in fact. And if you lived in Lake Park, you remember that very well. 16 inches of snow.
that was in 1943, right?
Yes, that was incredible.
I remember.
And the roads got blocked, so that was very nice for them.
All right, and then in 1961, Santa Ana winds. California and much of the Southwest deals with this lots this time of year, and it's basically strong winds, flaming up wildfires, and really causes terrible visibility and destruction too.
Yes, I wouldn't know about that. I have not lived in the area, but I know they did not remember that. In Portland, Maine, they got a total of 3.93 inches of rain in 1983. So hopefully, Jake at the wall, did we ever see that rain over in Tallahassee?
Taken care of.
Alrighty, guys. Now, sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulty there, but as I was saying, 75 degrees, dew point 62, humidity 64. So temperatures around here, 67 Monticello, 75 Tallahassee, 71 down in Carabel. So things are cooling down. Still is pretty warm today, all things considered. What time of the year it is, November, but satellite and radar, we see that weather player up there moving across towards the east. Not going to be bringing a significant amount of rain to the capital city, though, not the Big Bend. We see the moisture coming in from the Gulf, increasing the moisture content of the air, so that's going to be a big player tomorrow. This low is going to move on through. The moisture is going to come through tomorrow. We're going to see humid and just warm day tomorrow. And as soon as this guy moves out of here, we're going to see cool and clear conditions. This high pressure sets in, things are going to start to look much better around the region, all things considered for tomorrow. Our beach forecast, though, really looking windy, 5 to 10 knots out of the north, serves about 2 to 3 feet, so keep that in mind if you're heading out there to the beach. Might not be the best day, but then again, temperatures will be fairly decent tomorrow anyways. Boating forecast, 5 to 10 knots, same deal. We're going to be pretty windy out there, and of course, cloudy skies, as I just said. But for tonight's forecast anyway, it's going to be pretty warm out there, 64 degrees. Clouds are going to be sticking around. Definitely as that moisture comes in from the south, things are going to be very just warm and pretty muggy out there considering it's November. And then for tomorrow's forecast, 81 degrees. So this is really where it's going to start to get hot. 81 with a mix of sun and clouds, but it's going to be pretty humid out there, guys, with clouds around. But not a high chance of rain considering what that front is doing up in the north right now. As soon as it gets here, it should be pretty well degraded. And there, once again, as we look at the 7-day, Thursday, tomorrow, 81 degrees is our high, but then look at that. Drops right back down to 72 on Friday. Things starting to look a little bit cooler, but then on the rise again over the next week or so with Wednesday out there, giving us another chance for rain and the lows in the mid-40s as we begin the week, or as we end the week, and then as we begin the next one in the mid-50s. But let's finish things up at the desk with Tyler and Jay.
Okay, thanks so much, Jake. And well, we had an exciting day up at Killearn Lakes Elementary School. Zach Covey and I, on behalf of the North Florida AMS, we judged some science fair projects. Do you remember science fair back in elementary school?
Yes, I remember the long night staying up with my mom trying to finish a project just in time, and me being like, oh, I want to create like a weather tornado in my classroom just to make it be awesome.
Yes, so lots of fun interaction. We definitely saw that today at Killearn Lakes Elementary School. Took a couple pictures of some of the displays that we had, just showing the hundreds, and we might have some pictures popping up here, but there was hundreds of students that were being judged, and I did about 20 or 25 students, so it was a great honor. And
yes, and we did see the photos, and they were very excited kids. But we take a look at 7-day forecast. We see some rain Thursday and late next week Wednesday. But the rest of the weekend, it's going to be very nice weather.
Not too bad. If you're sticking around town or if you're, well, traveling, it's going to be pretty nice, I guess.
Yeah, speaking of like us on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter. You can also watch us at live stream at FSU Weather. And that will be just about it.
Yep. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm student meteorologist Tyler Allender.
And I'm student meteorologist Jay Kimball. Have a great night, Tallahassee.